Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall. And AM 630. WMAL.
7:37 on WMAL. We're Washington Talk. Brian Wilson here. Across the way over there in the studio, Brian Neiman. And we have on the phone, it's really one of my favorite parts of the entire week when we get to talk to Stuart Varney from your Fox Business Network. Stuart, how are you this morning?
I love talking to guys from Midland, Texas.
Excuse me, Odessa, Texas.
Oh, what a mistake.
You have just insulted me. I want you to know that, but I'll assume that you didn't know better.
Just an ignorant foreigner, what can I say?
There's a lot of difference between Odessa and Midland. Trust me on that.
I do.
Okay, look, I've been looking at the market because I'm obsessed. And at one point we were up at 13.3. Now we're down to about 12.8. Basically, the market has fallen recently, in recent days, some 503 points off its recent high. Not its all-time high, but its recent high.
Yep.
So the question I have is, that a lot of us people say it's Greece, it's France, it's the weak employment numbers. How much of a pullback is this likely to be long-term?
I don't know. I cannot tell you long-term what it's likely to be, but if I were to offer any opinion on it as a forecast, I'd say there is more downside moves to come. There's two things at play here. First off is Europe. The Greeks cannot repay their debt. They will not repay their debt, and Europe seems unwilling to just let them slide and pay their debt for them. So, looks like the euro is going to lose a member, and that's bad news over here because there's great uncertainty. Second point, our economy here in America is heading south. Not to a recession, but it's slowing down all over again. Mm-hmm. You put those two things together, and you got yourself a 500-point stock market sell-off. And because the news on the economy is likely to continue to be weak, and the news out of Europe is continuing to be turmoil, I think you've got more declines to come. Because
of this softness in the economy that's being perceived in some quarters, there is one sort of upside, and that is that oil prices are dropping, which should be reflected soon at the pump.
Yes, that's the upside. Well, we do already have lower gas prices. We're down about almost 20 cents a gallon from the high of 6 weeks ago. That's good news. And the decline in underlying oil prices, good news. Unfortunately, it is a reflection of a weaker economy. That's the underlying problem here.
All right, let's go back to Europe for a second. You know Europe as well as anybody. Where are we now with the elections that took place in France and with a socialist winning, and also what happened in Greece, and this mishmash of people who are elected in Parliament, and now there's signs that Europe is open to relaxing a timetable for Greece to pay back the loan that you say they can never pay back anyways.
Well, look, the Europeans want to go back to the good old days, and frankly, they can't because they've run out of money. The French want to go back to the days of cradle-to-grave security, retire at 60, tax the rich, and all the other stuff that they've been doing for several generations. They want to go back to that. They don't like austerity. They want the good old days to keep on going. It's wishful thinking because you can't. The model is broken. The money has run out. Now, I think that their solution is going to be, print money. Well, that's a short-term solution and a long-term huge problem because unless you structurally reform your economy, you can't keep on spending because nobody's going to give you the money to spend. So look, they are setting up a long-term problem here, and it's short-term chaos. I think the Greeks are going to be forced out of the euro. I think that's going to happen. And that means incredible pain for them in the very short term. I mean, the economy will collapse when they change currencies. But then they've got a springboard to bounce back because they've got their own currency, the drachma, and they can manipulate the value of that currency and bring in tourists for very cheap hotels and cheap beaches and wine. And I think that's their way out. I think that's what they're going to do.
All right. The president is headed out to California for a big fundraiser. I'm curious to get your take. You're close to Wall Street. President got a lot of money from Wall Street in 2007, 2008. Will he get the same amount of money this time around?
No, he will not. No. What he's done with the banking industry and the investment business is not popular on Wall Street. His attitude to the rich, not popular on Wall Street. They're not contributing the money that they used to. I think, I don't have the exact numbers, but it looks to me like Hollywood is now going to become the biggest giver to the Obama re-election campaign. Tonight, the George Clooney event will bring in more money than at any other single fundraising event ever, about $15 million. And with the Obama campaign has very cleverly raffled attendance. So they've held a raffle. You've got to pay money to get into this raffle. If your name is picked, you get to attend this dinner at George Clooney's house. Well, they're going to raise millions more on top of the $15 million attendance fee. They'll raise millions more from the raffle. I mean, this is the single biggest, campaign financing event ever, and it's all Hollywood money.
What do you think goes on at this place where you get $15 million in one room for the president? What goes on at a party like that, Stuart?
I don't know. I've never been. And I'm not likely to be invited to an Obama re-election campaign dinner either. I suspect that the schmoozing is intense. You get to rub shoulders with the most powerful man on the planet, and everybody smiles and pays up, and everybody has a good time, I guess.
If you pay enough, you get a grip and grin. You get to shake the president's hand, have a picture taken.
Here's one more thing on campaign financing. Yesterday, after the president announced that he was now looking favorably on gay marriage, $1 million flowed into the re-election campaign in 90 minutes.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, okay, it's a lot of money, but ultimately, we've had this argument this morning. To me, he can get some money from it, but at the end of the day, he's still got to win some states like North Carolina and Virginia and Ohio, and I'm not sure that it helps him that he's personally okay with gay marrich.
I agree. Look, I feel somewhat crass in raising the financial issue when it's connected to such a moral, cultural, and legal question as gay marriage. But there is that financial angle. It is there, and it is part of the equation.
And it is funny how Dick Cheney didn't receive that money in 2009 when he came out with the same position as President Obama.
Yes, I don't think Dick Cheney could raise 10 cents in Hollywood.
That's right.
I wouldn't hold my breath on that one.
No.
Hey, we got any numbers coming out today?
Yes, 8:30, first-time jobless claims. Don't know what they're going to show. I suspect they'll show that the economy is weakening. Big deal, though. These are weekly numbers. We shouldn't make too much of the weekly numbers, but it's the trend to watch, and the trend is negative.
The trend has been on the downhill slide.
Yes, it has. More and more people firing up for first-time jobless claims.
Well, his name is Stuart Varney. He's a good friend of this broadcast, and I like to claim him as a good friend personally. He's also the guy that you can get all this from on the Fox Business Network at Varney & Company. Thanks, Stuart, for joining us.
Thank you very much.